back to Court TV Live. I'm Ted Rollins. Glad to have you along with us. It is all calm outside that courthouse in Fairfax, Virginia this morning. The legal battle between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard is on a bit of a timeout, both sides, and the millions of people watching the trial are getting a break. About a week and a day. They'll be back at it a week from Monday. It comes after 2 days of explosive testimony from Amber Heard. She told the jury some horrible stories, including an allegation that Depp sexually assaulted her with a bottle. Of course, it'll be up to the jury to decide who is telling the truth, because one of them is lying. One of the last moments of testimony on Thursday centered around these pictures, and an argument that both sides agree included a headbutt. Depp testified it accidentally happened as they were tussling, but Amber Heard told jurors it was absolutely deliberate.
We had this argument that kind of, was a shoving match that I was losing. By the second or third shove, he sent me toppling over this chaise lounge, like a little low-lying sofa seat, and I hit my head on the brick wall. There was an exposed brick wall. I remember I stood up, and I remember Johnny asking me if I wanted to go, and he did that thing where he's like challenging me. He said it in that way, challenging me to stand up and get back up. And when I did, he said, "Oh, you really want to go now, tough guy?" Shoved me back down. "Oh, you really want to go, huh? Oh, you're so tough." I stood back up again. This time he hits me in the face. I stand back up and look him right in the eyes. And it was just a really still moment. I'll never forget it. Really still. I stood up and he said, "Do you want to go again, tough guy?" And I just looked right at him, just looked right at his face. And he balled up his fist, leaned back, and headbutted me square in the nose. Just right as I stood in front of him. I was a foot from him. Just slammed me right in the nose. Instantly, searing pain. It's one of the few memories I have in this long relationship that I actually remember the physical pain in that moment, just searing. That's my face sometime after. That's my face some time after. And Johnny beat me up.
What does this depict, Amber? Could you tell the jury?
This is my face sometime after.
Does this accurately portray the scene depicted? Amber?
Yes, it does. This is maybe...
Wait, let me move it first. May I move
Sure.
the admission of Defendant's Exhibit 516?
No objection.
516 in evidence.
Published to the jury, please. Okay, Amber, go ahead and explain what it is.
I think this is maybe that night or the next night after Johnny left me on the bed.
Move to admit Defendant's 517, Your Honor.
No objection.
517 in evidence.
Amber, please describe for the jury what this portrays.
That's my face after this incident.
And what's portrayed on your lip?
Well, he busted my lip when he punched me. It's bleeding in this picture. It kept reopening. It's a mouth. The lips move.
Please tell the jury what's depicted here.
That's my scalp with a chunk of it missing from when Johnny was dragging me by my hair.
That was pretty much the end of the testimony yesterday with Amber Heard on the stand. Joining us this morning, criminal defense attorney Lauren Stuckert. She's been with us this morning from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and joining our conversation, jury consultant and human behavior expert Susan Constantine. She's in Orlando, Florida. Susan, we've got some questions for you. Human behavior. There's a lot of bad human behavior in this one, and one of these two is exhibiting atrocious human behavior, because one of the two is lying to a level that you really, it's hard to get your head around. Either Johnny Depp is lying about all of this and still wanted to file this lawsuit. I mean, at some point he'd be like, oh, she might tell the bottle story. Maybe I better not do this. Or Amber Heard accusing him of monstrous behavior. One of the two is at a level that isn't normally seen. What does it take for a human being to be either one of these two, the liar, the person that is here lying? Who is that person? How do you get to that point where you're able to go on the world stage like this and just tell lie after lie? Because one of them's doing exactly that.
That's true, but let's go back a little bit. So when you're reading somebody, where they got today is there is some sort of history, right? So you've got his truth, her truth, and of course we've got in the middle, what is truly the truth. So what I am seeing in this relationship is two things. One is we've got a Johnny Depp, when he goes inside, he's very introverted and he stonewalls her, okay? So this is where we're seeing with his head down, that's a form of stonewalling. I don't want to look at you. I don't want to pay attention. You don't have my attention. What happens then, Amber then amplifies her behavior. So she becomes a bit more histrionic. So you can see how explosive this relationship is. But ultimately, this jury has to decipher all of that and determine who's being more truthful than the other. Now, these are not human behavior experts. They're not people that are trained on this jury. Although I believe that they will be able to sift through enough of this information to determine who truly is the liar. And I believe I have that answer.
Who is it?
Amber Heard.
Oh.
She is amplifying all of these experiences, so she's becoming much more histrionic. Her expressions in her facial expressions are so amplified that the truth becomes distorted. So when a person has to amplify and the information becomes more distorted, it starts to crumble and that starts to fall apart. Then there's the other piece of it, not just the body language, but also the language. So I've been trained very extensively in statement analysis, and at my company, the Human Behavior Academy and the Human Behavior Lab, I have experts that we pull in and we analyze information based on testimonies like this, where we do statement analysis, voice stress analysis, and behavioral analysis. And if you combine all those three modalities together, those different specialties, then you can find the distortions in the language. And there is a lot of distorted language in Amber Heard's testimony. So is she absolutely lying through the whole story? No, she's not, because most of what people tell you is truthful and fragments of it are distorted. They skip over, they minimize, and they remove all of the damaging information. But that jury has to figure this out.
Lauren, apparently you had to figure it out too, because you believed Amber Heard, and your reaction to what Susan has opined.
And I would also acknowledge I'm absolutely not an expert in human behavior. It's not that I believe everything that she's saying, but I definitely feel truth coming out of her. I don't think that she's making this all up. As I said before, in these types of situations where you have two vastly different versions of what occurred, I think it's very possible that both Miss Heard and Mr. Depp might somehow think that they are both entirely telling the truth. What I think is problematic for Mr. Depp, though, is, again, that his truth is colored by excessive alcohol and drugs. And I also I find his behavior, if I'm just a juror, someone without the expertise that Ms. Constantine has, I'm watching Ms. Heard tell this very emotional, horrible, event that had occurred. And, Mr. Depp is looking down and won't make eye contact. If you're innocent, if you didn't actually do this to her, look her in the eye and stand your ground and make very clear that she is lying. He's fidgety. He's rubbing his nose. He's doing just things that don't sit well with me. And I would consider myself more to be akin to the lay people that are sitting on that jury than an expert in the field.
Susan, what about that? A lot of talk about Johnny Depp's refusal to look at Amber, and you could see, maybe his rationale, he's been told to do that, or he doesn't want to do it. Should he change strategy?
Yes, he should. But this is the problem in the dynamics of the relationship. So if you look at Dr. Gottman's work in the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, there are 4 different criteria that we look for in a relationship that's going to deteriorate and also can predict whether somebody is going to be divorced after, I think, 9 or 10 years. But anyway, 2 of the bigger ones is criticism. We've got stonewalling. We have contempt. I see this often between the 2 of them. So what Johnny Depp is doing, he is stonewalling. When I see this is what was happening in their relationship. So what should he be doing to look more empathetic or credible, or like, as your other expert said, stand his ground? He needs to be making periodic glances her direction and look like he's interested, because right now what he's doing is he's cutting her off, which doesn't look good for Johnny Depp.
Should he glare at her or react with, are you kidding me, while she's going into some of the details of these stories that make him look like a complete monster?
Yeah, well, see, there's 2 different ways to look at it. He could lean back and go, she is so full of baloney. She's storytelling. This is typical histrionic behavior. Or he could lean forward and make more direct eye contact. We saw this in Clinton. I did not have sex with that woman, Monica Lewinsky. What did he do? He looked into the camera, and he looked right into the camera to tell the public, the people, what he didn't do. But see, what happens with this, when you're staring somebody down, this is not good. We don't want the stalker eyes, right? We don't want somebody piercing in and the eyes narrowed with anger and disdain, because all we're seeing here play out is what was actually happening behind the scenes. So what we're seeing here overall in the demeanors of both of them, there was a lot of dangerous emotions that were going on. I believe both of them were at that 95% in their relationship. All it took was 5% for them to flip out. And when I'm watching Amber Heard, I just got to bring this up. When you're watching her expressions, and they're very amplified, they're extreme. So they're hyper. There's a lot of hyper arousal going on here. But you see a lot of scorn in her mouth. She does a lot of this. This is a scorned woman. What this is all about is anger, disgust, and mixed with sadness. She didn't get out of the relationship what she wanted. She's ticked off, and he has completely removed himself, and he's like, hands up, I'm done. I don't want anything to do with it.
Fascinating. We're step aside, take a break. Amber Heard and Johnny Depp have, of course, wildly different stories of how Johnny Depp severed his finger in Australia. We'll take a look at that and look at her side of the story. We heard his. He says she threw a vodka bottle at him. She says she wasn't even there. We'll talk about that next.